Impeachment of Donald Trump has been promised by Representative Al Green. The 2025 Texas redistricting map has been blocked by federal courts. Trump's strategy at pointing the media's attention exactly where he wants to go using the Epstein Files, and Trump to permanently pause immigration from third world countries. All of that and more. But first, if you have an argument that you would like to have against my opinions, then please comment down below and I will respond to it. If you do enjoy today's show, please drop a like down below and subscribe. Now, Representative Al Green is promising to lay articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump before the winter break. The Democratic Party is not having the back of Al Green. They're not supporting this. Al Green is going rogue and doing this himself. When asked by the media why he is impeaching President Donald Trump, he gave no reason for it. There is no reason for it. They're just trying to defame him and steal media attention. They're trying to take the media and point it at themselves because they have not had as much attention as when they had President Biden in office. Now that Trump's in office, all of the attention's on him. Everything is about Donald Trump. Even when Marjorie Taylor Greene resigned from the House as a representative, President Trump basically tweeted something out against Marjorie Taylor Greene because Marjorie Taylor Greene went on to CNN and said that she was sorry that she was so conservative and that she does not support the MAGA movement. So President Donald Trump made a truth, I guess you'd call it, from Truth Social. He made a comment on her that effectively ended her political career. Most of Marjorie Taylor Greene's comments seem to be emotional based. I felt like she didn't think about her actions before she did them very well. So all of this has been pointing the media's attention on Donald Trump. The liberals have not had any attention. They want more attention. They want to get back into the office of the presidency. And they can't do that when the people in the polling data really don't like them, like they don't right now. Al Green is trying to get attention so that he can show the people that the Democrats are actually doing something. Because they haven't done anything since January 6th. They shut down the government, but the people don't support that. That was the Democrats' last hope for trying to do something. But they can't even win that. So now they have to go back to, 2018, something around there, where they were impeaching President Trump. Although this time, it's not even the whole party against President Trump. It's just Al Green. Al Green going after him with no reason at all. This is not going to look good for the Democrats. It's going to make them look like a bunch of children running around the White House, impeaching the president because they feel like it. This attempt to impeach president will definitely not work. I mean, we all know who President Trump is. We've already been through a term with him. We've been through almost another year with him. We know he's not the orange Hitler Nazi sympathizer that the Democrats like to make him out to be. He's made our gas cheaper. He's made our groceries cheaper. He's done so many things for our country already in the first year. There's no reason to impeach him. I understand that President Trump is not perfect. I know no one's perfect. However, I think that Trump was the right man for the job at the time. I think he's the best we can have for a president in our moment. There are people who I'd rather have as president, like J.D. Vance, but for now, I think we should support President Trump. Now, the 2025 Texas redistricting map has been invalidated by federal courts. The courts claimed that it was based upon race and not political strategy. The Supreme Court has held that redistricting based upon political strategy so as to get more people on your party into the House, so cheating, in effect, they ruled that that is not against the Constitution. And so if you redistrict based upon politics, then it's fine. That's why the Democrats have been doing it. That's why the Republicans have been doing it. This is why gerrymandering happens. As long as it's based on politics and not on race, then it's fine in the Supreme Court's eyes. However, I don't think that cheating at all is okay. I don't care which party does it. However, I do think that this is just a liberal attempt to defame the Republican Party. They look at us and they see one thing that we mess up on, and they go after us on that one point. And they say, ignore all of the errors of the Democratic Party. Ignore all the things that they want to do, like force transgenderism onto our children in the schools, or make gay marriage the new type of marriage that everyone supports. This is actually smart of the Democrats in a sense. They're pointing all the media attention at Republicans at a fault of ours. This takes away the attention from their faults, many as they are. It's kind of like a debate. In a debate, if you're arguing, if you want to win a debate, You have to go on the offensive and say, oh, well, your argument's flawed here, here, and here. And you have to keep directing them to a different... You got to basically take them on this whole rabbit hole down away from the main point if you don't have the truth. So there are ways you can win an argument without having the truth if the other side does not know how to debate properly. Although debating properly is about finding the truth, so I don't see that as a just way of debate. However, the liberals are doing that unjust way of debate. They're pointing us towards a fault of the Republicans and hiding all of their errors behind that one fault. So to redirect that attention back at the Democrats, why don't we look at all of the inflation and the crime that has occurred under President Biden? Throughout President Biden's term, we can see through graphs that inflation went up to, I think it was 19% was the highest point. I mean, we haven't seen inflation like that in a very long time. And we've seen a skyrocket in grocery bills because of that. Trump just got back into office a little less than a year ago. It's not his fault that the grocery bill is this high. It's not his fault that the gas was that high. It was President Biden's fault. Because the prices don't look at who's president and adjust based upon that. They look at the circumstances. And Biden made our circumstances very poor. I remember when gas was $2 a gallon, or less than that, back in Trump's term of office. Now, the release of the Epstein Files are to be done by December 19th. Trump signed an executive order back on November 19th, I believe it was. Yes, that the Department of Justice must release these files. I have had people ask me before what I think about the Epstein Files. Personally, I think it's just a distraction from the important things. I think Trump is cleverly outplaying the media by see these files, once they're released and Trump's name's not on it, anything that the media said that his name's on it, oh, he was a part of the Epstein Island crimes, it's discredited immediately, just like that. But if they're defaming him on other things, like the border or immigration or on inflation, well, he can't immediately disprove that by just releasing some files. So I see this as a strategy by the president to direct media attention away from him. If Donald Trump truly was on these Epstein files, do you think he would even be hinting at releasing them or signing an executive order? No, he probably wouldn't even have mentioned them. He probably would have just ignored them and tried to direct the media attention away somewhere else. If Donald Trump was truly on these files, he would not be letting those get out. That's for sure. But he's probably going to release them, and we're all going to see that his name's not on it, and we're all going to forget about it and move along, and it's going to mean nothing to us anymore. Trump is permanently pausing immigration from all third world countries. He says this is to allow our economy to heal. He also said that all subsidies and welfare checks will no longer be going to non-citizens. By non-citizens, obviously he means illegal aliens. He also said that he will be deporting all security risks as well as people who are incompatible with Western civilization. What does this mean, incompatible with Western civilization? Well, I believe that it means people who do not have respect for our laws, because you see, you feel very comfortable at your home. People around you think very similarly to you. They agree with your opinions on things, to some degree. If you left your home and you went to a different state, it's a completely different country there. People have different ways of life and thinking that's different from yours. If we just let all of these illegal immigrants in from third world countries, well, in third world countries, you don't have police. You have military soldiers enforcing law. So when the military soldiers aren't there, well, there's no law. They can do whatever they want. That's just how life is down there. And if you import millions, tens of millions of those people into our country, they're going to act like that here. And then you're going to see a lot of crime. And you're going to need more police officers. You're going to need more jail cells. So Trump is claiming that he's going to deport all people like this. I'm not saying that all illegal immigrants come from backgrounds like this. I'm sure there's some who are going to have respect for our law. However, I think that it's pretty obvious which ones don't. I think it's most likely the criminals that Trump is going to be deporting. Specifically, as he said before, he's focused on criminals, and terrorists for deportation. I'm sure that the media is going to hype this up and say, oh, what does he mean by incompatible with Western civilization? He's going to deport citizens of the United States. He's going to deport everybody that he doesn't like. He means all Democrats. But come on, he hasn't deported a single U.S. citizen. He hasn't. He would if he wanted to, but he can't. It's against the Constitution. There would be riots in the streets if he did that. Talk about the quickest way to turn the American people against you and make your polling numbers drop to zero. I mean, I wouldn't like President Trump if he was deporting U.S. citizens. And I'm sure a lot of other people would suddenly hate him as well. So he's not going to do that. The media just needs to take a chill pill for a minute, or for like 3 years. All this follows the death of a National Guard member outside of the White House after an Afghan national ambushed the National Guard and shot this, I believe it was a woman, and she was killed. It was announced that she died recently. Trump is saying that all Afghan nationals should be investigated and their green cards should be revoked if they're seen to be as security risks. I think that this is probably the best policy that you can possibly have for our immigration. All security threats would involve terrorists, criminals. Who wants criminals and terrorists imported from other countries into ours? No one. No one wants that. We're not going to fill our prisons with them either. We'll just send them back. And there's no reason to not send them back. If you're here on a green card, we can send you back no matter what. It doesn't matter the reason for it. There is no law saying that you have to have a just reason to revoke a green card. We can do whatever we want because you've been invited here. If you have a guest invited into your home, let's say they don't take off their shoes. You don't like that. You can tell them to leave your house. It's your house. That's fine. I don't think that's not a very good analogy for this because, I mean, it's not a crime. A criminal committing crime in the United States is not nearly as petty as not taking off your shoes when going into another person's house. But you get my point. It's our country. If you are not a U.S. citizen, you have no right to be here. You have an invitation if you have a green card, but no right to be here. No right to remain here. That's why we can remove you if we want. On top of that, ending benefits to illegal immigrants. I mean, how can you be against that? New York and Chicago's mayor, well, now previous New York mayor, because the new one, Mamdani, took over, but the previous New York mayor, they admitted out loud, they were like crying to the Democratic Party back under Biden's administration that there was way too many illegal immigrants in New York City for them to take care of. They were trying to give them money and keep them on welfare and house them and give them food and stuff. There wasn't enough money for that. There was too many. It was overwhelming. There was camps of illegal immigrants all over New York City on every block. Not every block, but you get the hyperbole to prove a point. Same in Chicago. They had the exact same issue, and they were like, please, you have to stop this. We can't take any more illegal immigrants in. That's what the mayor of New York City said. We can't take any more in. It'll ruin us. Because when you have a sudden importation of tons of poor people into your country, and they're all on welfare, you're going to have a huge increase in expenses. And I don't know if you've ever run a business before. You don't even have to run a business, just your house. You know that if you're making less than you're spending, you're going to go into debt and you're going to lose your home to the IRS. They're going to come and see that you haven't paid your taxes. They're going to take your house. Or the bank will default you on your debt, take your assets. It's the same. It's the same thing for New York. When you are spending $1 trillion, again, hyperbole, on illegal immigrants' subsidies and welfare checks, and you're only making maybe $500 billion a year, suddenly you're going to be losing $500 billion every year. That's not sustainable for New York. They said, both mayor of Chicago and New York, that it will cripple them to have any more illegal immigrants taken in. On top of that, not just economically will it devastate our country, but culturally it'll devastate our country if we have 20 million illegal immigrants come in. I mean, most illegal immigrants, there's some coming from the Middle East, from Afghanistan. A lot of them are not coming from South America, according to statistical data. A lot of these are coming from Middle Eastern countries, or China. They don't have Christianity. That's not their culture. That's our culture. They're coming in with Muslim cultural ideas. And when you have a bunch of Muslims in your country and they can take over, and then you'll turn the United States into Iran. Do you want to live in Iran under Sharia law? I personally don't want to see that. There was a city in Illinois that has on a megaphone I think it's like 3 hours of the day, certain times, they have Sharia prayers, Muslim prayers announced over these speakers. It's very loud across the entire city. Do you want to live like that? So yeah, I don't care if you're illegal or a legal migrant. We should not have 20 million come into our country. Even if we had the resources to process 20 million illegal immigrants in a year, they should not be all coming into our country. And Trump knows this. This is why he's clamping down on immigration. The media and other people always make this big deal about how, it's against human rights to let these people stay in their home countries because they're abused and stuff. What about Americans? Do we have human rights? I think so. So why are we expected to take in 20 million illegal immigrants and cripple ourselves out of human rights for them? What about our rights? What about our right to our country? That's kind of like our ship is sinking, so we're going to take you with us out of human right. No, that doesn't make any sense at all. This is our country. We're going to make sure that our country is economically stable and culturally stable. We'll have some migrants come in, but it's not going to be 20 million a year. It's going to be way less than that so that they can adjust to our culture. And then as they adjust to our culture, we can let more in so that we're not losing our culture as a result of immigration. On December 13th, this group called Refuse Fascism is going to, and I quote, surround the White House in protest of President Donald Trump's fascism. I don't think they know what fascism truly means. Fascism is authoritarianism and dictatorship. Has Trump been an authoritarian dictator? No. You don't have any evidence to prove that he has been. You just don't like what he does. You just don't like his opinions. The Democrats claim that we've done illegal things, although I'd like to see a single thing that Trump's done illegally. So, I mean, if you have an instance where he was acting illegally, I'd like you to share that in the comments section down below, please. But this surrounding of the White House to reject fascism, it's also not a good look for the Democrats at all. I mean, if you're surrounded by a bunch of protesters or rioters, you're going to feel very unsafe for good reason, because the idea of surrounding is to stop any means of escape. It's a siege, basically. So that's why it's very threatening to people. This is not just a peaceful protest. This is an attempt to threaten Donald Trump and make him feel uncomfortable and unsafe. This is not going to play well for the Democrats. This is going to look like a violent riot. Recently, we just saw a National Guard member shot. You think they're just going to let you do whatever you want? No, there's going to be rule of law. Imagine this was turned around on Republicans. Imagine we declared that on December 18th, we're going to march to the Capitol during President Biden's administration. We're going to surround the White House in support of the American people against President Biden. Do you know what the media would say? They'd be like, they'd say exactly what they said about January 6th. It's an attempt to steal the presidency. It's a revolution. It's, all of that. But of course, they're not going to do that when it comes to Democrats, because the media is controlled by liberals. The media lies. The media cheats. And it's all in favor of the Democrats to try to boost their numbers somehow. I mean, good luck boosting their numbers through this. This is just not a good look for them. That was a good show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please drop a like down below and subscribe. I'm going to be uploading every Sunday, and I'm trying to grow my channel as big as possible. And it's going to be a potential future career for me if it gets big enough. So please subscribe, drop a like down below, leave a comment of your opinions. If you respectfully have an argument for me, I will read it and I will respond. And I might even put it up in my channel next video. Thank you. God bless.